the definition of any form of oppression by the guise of power is just so unbelievably dangerous, and I don't think that people really have a read on that yet. But essentially, any time that someone, and I guess power, privilege, all of these things can be measured in so many different ways. How tall you are, how deep your voice is, whether you come from a single parent home or a 2-parent household. Obviously, color of your skin impacts it. There's so many other things, and once you get into these power dynamics and start to understand people as whether they're oppressor oppressed, then things can switch around really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a point that people can't foresee in the future, is when I don't think there's ever going to be equity of outcome, and if there is, that scares me more than
homogeny is death to any system.
Yeah. So, and that was, honestly, I loved communism. I absolutely loved it when I was younger. And then I read the manifesto by Marx and Engels, and that's what turned me off of it.
You just like the fascism part.
Yeah,
you're a dude, right? So you like order. So you like order and like things being productive in a way that makes sense to you. Everyone loves fascism when it's for their own ideals.
Well, I just love the idea of everyone being equal. That just seemed so, that seemed like a, now that I look back at it, I understand that it's a very romantic perspective to hold. And so when I held it, it was that there are inequities in the world, and if everyone were on the same playing field, then things would be a lot better. And then I actually read the manifesto, and there were points where they're talking about society and saying, well, if everyone's equal, everyone works on the farm for the same hours, everyone produces the same, everyone gets the same. And to me, that felt so drab, it felt so bleak, so gray. And
yeah.
From that point on, I decided, well, there are going to be people that produce more, there are going to be people that do more in different facets of life, and to hold, essentially what ends up happening in that perspective is that you hold people down from what they could achieve, and everyone has to come down to the level of the lowest person.
Yeah, it's the way we nerf school, right? Basically, like I didn't feel like school did me any favors. No. I didn't feel like, I mean, it socialized me to feel like, a bit of an outcast here and there. It took me away from my parents during my psychological or my formative psychological development. It put me in an asshole factory, basically Lord of the Flies. So, I mean, it taught me how to deal with whatever the hell this society is. In a lot of ways, but I mean, as far as like math and learning, like they don't even teach you what the words to describe words are anymore, like noun and adjective, so I'm not really sure. Yeah. So because it's going to hurt people's feelings, it's got to be like nerf the whole thing down. But I mean, again, the whole model is to produce factory workers and consumers and point and shoot soldiers, right? It's a Prussian model from, and coming back to the Industrial Revolution, like Marx just didn't realize how rapidly the Industrial Revolution would redistribute wealth and power in an organic way.
Yeah.
And yeah, like there's some atrocities, but there's a reason you would want to go to the city instead of starving on a farm. Because like we don't even think about like how horrific pre-industrialized society is because of how bad for the environment industrialized society is. We don't think about like how shitty it is to watch like your family dying of starvation and pestilence and all these things, right?